Hi! My name is Lea and I really like to knit. Maybe you see the things beside me and you maybe have read the title of this video, so you know exactly what we're doing today. I know we're already in 2025, but I really wanted to show you what I've knitted and crocheted in 2024. I have my notes with me. Since the beginning of 2024, I've been keeping track of all my projects on Ravelry. Not exactly, since February 2024 I've been keeping track, but I only did one project in January and we'll talk about that one first. All these projects are sorted by the date I finished them. Most of these projects were made with acrylic yarn, but I also have some socks, a sweater and a cardigan made with natural fibers. Of course, I'll link all the patterns in the description below and I'll even mark the ones that were free. Since many of the things I knitted or crocheted were Christmas presents, I don't have them with me anymore, of course, but I have enough pictures to show you. So yeah, let's go through everything I've made in 2024. First off, we have the Storm Sweater by Petite Knit. I finished this one in January. I found this pattern super interesting because it creates such an interesting look, only using purl and knit stitches and no cables at all. It's really cool. That's a really cool design. This was my first project of the year and it felt like the perfect way to kick things off. To the next project. Here we have the mini mock neck tank by Jessie Mad Designs. I used acrylic yarn for this one and it turned out super stiff. Because of that. It's a shame, but that's the reason I haven't worn it since. It just doesn't sit right because of that. But that's not the pattern's fault, it's the fault of my yarn choice. Ooh, the next project is nice. Next we have the Folklore Cardigan by Lion brand yarn. This is actually my second time knitting this cardigan. The first one I did in the original colors, which are cream/white with black stripes, but this time I went with a black and white color scheme inspired by Taylor Swift's Reputation album, so I named this one the Reputation cardigan. I actually made this version specifically for the Eras tour because I was lucky enough to attend one of the concerts last summer. You may or may not know that fans dressed according to their favorite album, and I did a whole Reputation themed outfit, which was mostly black. So yeah, the cardigan was the centerpiece. Next in line we have the Robinson Wrap Cardigan by Florence Miller. I worked on this cardigan at the exact same time as the Folklore/Reputation cardigan, and it was such a relaxing knit. Unlike the Reputation cardigan, I didn't have to constantly pay attention to the cable repeats. So this was a great balance between a more complex and a more mindless project. Next we have the Lumberjacky Cropped Sweater by Vegan Metal Vamp. Hell yeah. This sweater was knit up super quickly. Since it was made with larger needles, I think I used 5mm for them. I had to make quite a few adjustments to the pattern to get it exactly to how I wanted it to. But luckily that wasn't a problem at all. It was such a fun and short project, perfect for using up some black acrylic scrap yarn I had. And in the end I finally had a simple black cropped sweater, something I'd been wanting for a while. Here we have the Stockholm Sweater by Petite Knit. This is one of my absolute favorite sweaters. The fit is perfect, the length is exactly what I wanted, and I actually knitted a lot of it during a cruise with my family last year, so it also reminds me of a really nice vacation. Now we have a small tragedy. The next project I did were the Ruffle Socks by Petite Knit. This was my first project using merino wool, which I bought in Norway during the cruise I did with my family. I wanted the socks to be special. Unfortunately, they shrank in the wash. because I didn't know that you shouldn't put natural fibers in the washing machine. You should only wash your knits with your hands, and I didn't know that. But I'll get to that later because I have another project which died in my washing machine and I have a photo. So yeah, the ruffle socks didn't survive, but it's alright. So now we come to my summer projects. But before I start with the things here, I wanted to show you 3 bags I did in the summer, which I didn't track on Ravelry. I don't know why. I just found them a few minutes ago when I was looking for all the projects I did. So excuse this little bit of chaos. I don't have notes about them, so I'll just talk a bit about them freely. Here we have a book sleeve, I think, a book bag. It's not really stiff because it's made of acrylic yarn, and it has two compartments. It has 2 compartments inside, I think that's the word for it, where you can put your book and other stuff. And yeah, you can wear it as a crossbody bag, maybe not. It's or as a normal handbag. It's cute. I shouldn't have made it with acrylic yarn. The girl that made this bag, I saw her on TikTok and I instantly fell in love. At first she just had the pattern up on her website to buy, but she also had made a video tutorial on YouTube. So I'll try to find that one and also link her website if I find it. It's been a while and I haven't kept track of this project on Ravelry, which is a bit of a shame. Then we have a really small project, which is a little bag for my water bottle. I made this because I was taking many walks in the summer and I didn't want to hold it all the time I was walking, so I just made this in an afternoon. And yeah, I've used it quite much last summer and it was really great. So yeah, just a small water bottle holder. And now we have, that's a really cool project. Oh, I found another project I did. First we do this. I made this bag out of a few granny squares. It has a big granny square in the front, 2 on the sides, 2 on the other sides, and 1 big on the other side. And I also did, which is the nice thing, I made a whole lining out of some leftover fabric I had. It's a bit small, but I've used this one. This was a scrap yarn project and I really like it. Inside the bag I found this little thing where I put my Bluetooth, not my AirPods, my Bluetooth, you know, like AirPods. So, and now we go back to the projects beside me. The last project I presented to you were the ruffle socks, which unfortunately shrank in the wash, and I was really devastated after that because I've just lost a whole project and the yarn, which was expensive and came from Norway, so I really felt like crocheting something. So I've decided to make a sunflower bucket hat out of granny squares, and I loved how it turned out. This was actually my first Christmas gift that I've made in the summer. And from here on out there will be quite a few more, especially socks. And the 9th project I did last year was another sunflower bucket hat in blue. Because I liked it so much, I had to make one for myself. Now we have a few socks. We have the cozy autumn socks, which were a Christmas gift for my grandma. And the Austin socks, which were also a Christmas gift. I really went all in on sock knitting last year. Oh, and then we have a granny square tote bag. After making all the bucket hats, I was still obsessed with granny squares. So I crocheted this tote bag as a gift. The colors worked surprisingly well together, and it was a great way to use up some leftover yarn. Now we have a dress. This will be really hard to show you, but I have some pictures. Here we have, can you see anything? Here we have, really cute, the Made You Fall dress by Vanessa Fleming. I've always loved these milkmaid dresses. They look so romantic and cute. So when I saw this pattern, I knew I had to give it a try. I was super excited at the beginning, but I eventually lost motivation to keep going, which is why it took me to July to finish. Unfortunately, I used acrylic yarn, so the final result doesn't feel as nice as I'd hoped. Maybe someday I'll try making it again in another fiber. Well, we'll see about that. What's next? Oh! Oh no. Okay. Now we have another tragedy beside the ruffle socks I've made. It's the sweater number 27 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This was another merino wool project that I loved so much, but it also shrunk in the wash. Nice. Along with the ruffle socks, of course, like I said. And at the time I was really devastated, but now every time I see this photo, I just laugh about it. It's so funny. I'm smiling way too much, it hurts. So the next project I did were the Hermione's Everyday Socks by Erika Lüder. Yet another Christmas gift, of course. I really enjoyed the pattern of these socks. It had such a lovely texture. Next project I did were a second pair of the ruffle socks by Petite Knit. I had some leftover merino wool from the sweater number 27, rest in peace. So I had to make another pair, but honestly they're way too warm for me to wear, so I might knit them again with sock yarn, and I really want to have them in white and in black. More socks! The Late Edges socks by Kelly McPherson. Another pair of socks that ended up under the Christmas tree. Yay! And Husband's Favorite Socks by Twin Stitches Designs. Also Christmas socks. And now we have the Colonial Mustard Socks by Erin L. Black. This was my first and only pair of socks using thicker sock yarn. They were meant for me, but they turned out way too big. I only wear them over another pair of socks when it's really cold. Now we have a scarf. I did the reversible rivulet scarf by Pearl Soho, which was a birthday gift for my grandma. And the Oslo hat by Petite Knit, another Christmas gift that I almost kept for myself. The Twizzler socks by Tangled Becca. I used rain-colored sock yarn for these and they turned out so cool. Since I had been knitting so many socks for others, I wanted to make something for myself. I designed a simple ribbed sock pattern freehand. It was fun to see how much I've learned about sock construction. Yeah, I've made these all by myself. Next in line we have the Honeycombed Aran by Gail Bunn. I have a few notes about this one. Let me have a look. This was actually one of the first free patterns I ever saved to my Ravelry library years ago. I finally felt ready to tackle the cables last fall, and I was inspired by a project from Hannah RH, who made it a cropped in the round version. I love the twist, so I adapted mine similarly. I rushed a bit through the project because I wanted to wear it for a specific event, and honestly my hands were really sore at times. At first I really loved the sweater, but now I'm a bit less enthusiastic, probably because of the acrylic yarn. The fit isn't as nice as I'd hoped, and the yarn just doesn't feel great. Still, it was a really satisfying project all in all. Alright, next we have the Snuggly Puck Slippers by Ira Roth. I've made these slippers for my mom, who's a huge puck fan. Our family dog had passed away last year, so I really want to make her something special. I made her these slippers, but honestly I did not enjoy crocheting them. It really was a struggle for me. just because I wasn't experienced enough reading the pattern and I just had a hard time. But I love how cute they turned out, and my mom was really excited for them. Next in line we have the Lavender Smiles vest by Drops Design. This was a little vest I've made as a Christmas gift for a child, and to make it even cuter, I embroidered tiny bees on it. I got the inspiration from a petite knit vest that had similar embroidery details. The kid loved it, so everything turned out great. Ooh, another scarf I've made for myself. This is the Berlin scarf by Susanne Müller. This pattern was love at first sight. This was such a fun knit. I wore it all fall and winter, and it has become my go-to scarf. Here we have the Easy Fingerless Mitts by Maggie Smith. My hands get really cold in the winter when I'm in front of my computer, so I made these fingerless mitts using some leftover merino and acrylic yarn, and the problem was solved. Yay! Oh, I can see the finishing line. Just a few more projects to go. What's next? The Bruno... Oh, I'm butchering this name. The Brunostsocken by Lili Olseth. This was my first ever colorwork project. I gave these as a Christmas gift, and of course they were a huge hit. The Hot Water Bubble by Emily Baldwin. This was a little secret Santa gift, a cozy cover for a hot water bottle, and the hot water bottle, of course. Oh, for my next project I have a few more notes, so let me get it. Here we have the Book Club Cardigan by Sari Nordlund. Let me get my notes about this one. After finishing the Honeycomb Errand, I was still really into cables, and I wanted a cropped white cardigan, so I chose this pattern, the Book Club Cardigan. I love the look, but I definitely struggled with the cables that had different repeat rows. I had to use I think I had to use 2 row counters, and I still messed up a few times. I totally miscalculated the pocket placement, so they ended up ridiculously tiny. Let me show you. Here you can see them. You can't. But I just have a love about it. But the sleeves were a whole other issue. I knitted the body in size 3, and the sleeves were way too tight. So I redid them in size 5, and even after blocking they were still a bit snug, which wasn't what I was hoping for. But despite all that, it's a piece I'm really proud of, because I've worked through all the challenges and I do love it, really. I'm really proud of this one. Just 2 more projects to go. The Tiny Sweaters Tree Ornaments by Melia May Joseph. These mini sweaters were such a fun way to use of scrap yarn, and they made the perfect Christmas gift. This was actually my last Christmas knit of the year, and it felt like a nice way to wrap up all the gift knitting. The last project I did was the sweater number 26 again, by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Since I had finished all my Christmas gifts, I decided to knit the sweater again. But this time I only hand wash it. And yes, this was my last project. This was everything I've knitted and crocheted in 2024. Reflecting, it was definitely a year full of projects for me and my knitting needles. And reflecting on all these projects, I really want to invest in more high quality fibers from now on from my upcoming projects. I already did that, and if you're interested in all the yarns I've bought and my knitting plans for this year and the upcoming future, you can check out my yarn organizing video that I've linked in the description. Yeah, acrylic yarn definitely was convenient and budget friendly, but I'm ready to move on. Really excited what 2025 will bring for me and my knitting needles. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!